Yo, yo, yo. What up, what up? What up, NYC? It's your dynamic dude back in the building with Heart of the City, man. Yeah, we back. We got a lot cooking in the city, man. The bright lights, man, the good food, and of course, sports. You already know, man. Knicks. We're gonna talk about them New York Knicks. Got the Yankees. They playing right now. I'm gonna give you an update on that. Of course, the NFL draft. We're gonna give our grades of the local teams, the Jets and the Giants, man. Got some hockey news, and of course, as always, Coach's Corner. All that and much more right after the intro. Let's go.
Ricey K, the Raisin Man.
All right. Let's get into it, man. What is good? What is good? Shout out to New York. You already know.
Mhm.
And New Jersey, of course. Don't want to be disrespectful. But coach, what's good with you, man? How you feeling tonight, man? I see you got the blinders on, man.
Yeah. Just a little glare from my light here for some reason tonight. I don't know why, so I'll just like throw it on there. That's the only reason why, just to take the glare down off of that. But other than that, I'm good, man. How about you? How you doing?
I'm good too. I'm good. But I tell you who ain't good. The New York Yankees, man. The New York Yankees right now. Um, they down to the Orioles 5-3.
Yeah.
5-3. So we're gonna get into all that tonight, man. We're gonna tap into the baseball, of course, the basketball, football, and everything, man. But like I always like to do, shout out to my people. What's up, man? Salute to the chat, man. Mets, what's good with you, man? We're gonna kick it for a minute, Brody. But listen in, man. Tune in, man. Might learn something, man. You might like something. Yo, reality check. 8K, what's good with you, man? Appreciate you tapping in, bro. Salute to you. Leaf Diggy, you. What's good with you, man? For real, man. What's up, man? Appreciate you tapping in, man. Yo, we're gonna talk, man. We're gonna talk, man. But let us get into this tonight, man. Because lot going on in the city. Lot going on in the city. But y'all know we got to kick it off. This is New York, the biggest thing in New York right now. What is that? That is the New York Knicks. That is the New York Knicks going up against the Pistons in the playoffs. Because the Knicks are what? They trying to get a chip, right? They trying to get a chip. But Detroit is like, hold up. Hold up. They beat the Knicks. in Game 5, 106 to 103. And I'm just like, okay, these are the Detroit Pistons, but these the new Pistons. These ain't the Isaiah Thomas Pistons, the bad boys. These ain't even the Rasheed Wallace, Chauncey Billups, Rip Hamilton Pistons. These is the baby Pistons. And the Knicks are in a dog fight with these boys, man. But we got our resident Knicks fan here, Mr. Coach Ed Gladney. I'm going to let him go in on his New York Knicks because guess what? That's your team. Those is your mans. What happened to him, bro?
Juju is a bad player, man. Sorry, just looking at her commercial, man. But first and first, they're not the baby Pistons, man. Oh, no disrespect. You gotta put respect on their name, man. Seriously, because that's a disrespect to them when you say stuff like that. And I know you trolling. I get it.
I mean,
I get it. But they
Johnny
are
come latelys, and they're young. That's why I call them the baby Pistons.
They have some good. No, they have some good veteran
team.
leadership though. Because who are the ones leading them? And who's the ones really now? Thompson yesterday, first of all, Tibbs, you needed to adjust because all he was doing was sitting on the baseline, shooting right into the middle of the lane. And when you go when they go to shoot the lane, and you go to give help, nobody's rotating, and he's sitting in the right under the net getting an assist. So that's an adjustment right there. But you got to give credit to Tim Hardaway Jr. You got to give credit to Tobias Harris. They're out there leading these young boys. And I'm not saying they are.
Schroeder. Yeah.
Schroeder. I mean, look, you as a Nets fan, you can admit this Schroeder. You probably would have said, "Yo, we would have taken this Schroeder over what you guys had," because he wasn't playing like this with New York, with Brooklyn. Damn sure wasn't. So
we wasn't in the playoffs either. So
no, what I'm saying as a leader of a young team. He
was doing his thing, but yeah, he playing a lot better in Detroit. I will admit that. Yeah.
So and that's the thing. Now New York, on the other hand, the rebounding is an issue. Cat Thomas, you can't let Tobias Harris bully you like that. You can't. And trying to go out and shoot the threes, you got to take it down in the lane and draw the fouls off of him. Now the refs are letting it go both ways, so that's why I'm not one of these old there's calls going both ways. The only call you can question is the Josh Hart, and there is one on Cade Cunningham yesterday where he went down the lane and extended his arm. And now this was in the second quarter, so it was early in the game. But other than that, I mean, everything else, you see physical, and I'm used to that, and I love that. I love that type of basketball. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's old school. Pistons back in the 90s. That's what a lot of these guys are not used to that. So, and Bernie Bickerstaff, he basically alluded to that. This is how he's coached up this team to be. That's what they like. That's how they like to play. A lot of these Knicks guys are not. Brunson, he's beat up. I'm sorry, his ankle. You can see it. You can see it. There's moments when no contact and his leg just gives out. So, that's a concern. That's why I say Cat Thomas. You always talk about Mikal Bridges. Why have they gone away from OG? OG towards the end of the season was killing it, and now all of a sudden they're not getting him to rock, which I don't understand. So to your point,
let me ask you this: are you disappointed in Karl Anthony Towns last night?
Oh, yes, last night, yes, I was disappointed. Yes, they were being physical with him. You got to know how to fight through that, bro. You got to fight through that.
That's been the knock on him, though. You see what I'm saying? When that trade was made, everybody told y'all Knicks fans that you lost toughness with Julius. Now, you, to your credit, coach, you admittedly said that, but you did lose toughness with Julius Randle and that crew that you had, that you traded to get Karl-Anthony Towns over there. Now, Cat Towns is an excellent scorer. I love his offensive game, but man, you get physical with that dude. Yeah, and Mikal Bridges too. Like these guys ain't really like they lack a little bit of toughness.
But the thing that hurt the Knicks was Mitchell Robinson. Remember, they didn't have a center. That would have meant you would have had to play Julius at the 5, and Julius is not going to go for that all year for most of the year. Cat can play the 5 as well as the 4. So
the upgrade was necessary,
yes, but I get it.
You did a lot.
You lost.
Did a little too much. Yeah,
you changed the whole dynamics of this team from last year to this year. So Mikal Bridges, you were expecting at least some toughness on the defensive end, but it just doesn't seem like he wants to be
first rounders.
Hey, I get it, man. That's a lot for him. I'm not going to sit here and say that. I'm not going to say.
And we said that, Nets fans wasn't trolling. Well, yeah, we was, but again, there's some truth in the trolling. Like, that's a lot to give up for a bit player, man. He's not that guy.
There are Knicks fans that even said it. So please don't think there aren't Knicks fans that haven't said it. It's just that, you know what? When you're saying you have a championship team, you're going all in. That's what Leon Rose did. He said, "I'm going all in." He wanted the Villanova Knicks in a sense. He wanted that, and he wanted some sense. He thought it would give them a bigger sense of toughness, in my opinion. So, but I also am looking at it from the point that this is also the first year. Yeah, you got it. You made the trade and you wanted to push it over the top, but I'm also, because of, gave up 5 first-round draft picks. Now, unless you somehow trade him out of here and get something else and get draft picks back, you got to run with him. You got to rock with him, and you got to figure out a way. And I'm not looking for him to be my number 3 scorer. I'm not. I'm fine with him being number 4. OG is my number 3. That's why I'm so frustrated, because he's shown he can do it as well as play defense. And for some reason, Tibbs goes away from him. And I don't understand it. I really don't understand it. Now, Detroit.
Well, he was 8 of 13, played 39 minutes. Had 19 points. So, I mean, he put up 13 shots.
8 of 13. So that's telling you he's efficient. That's telling you he's efficient. And you don't need to keep him in the corner to score. He can attack the lane. He can do a whole lot more.
On the contrary, Mikal Bridges got 16 shots, went 7 for 16, and had 17 points, 6 rebounds.
There you go.
So
there you go.
Yeah. That's the point. Now, what is your expectation moving forward in Game 6? Because a lot of Knicks fans are nervous. A lot of Knicks fans are feeling like this could go 7.
To be honest, I think it is.
What do you think?
I'm concerned. I'm one of those Knicks fans who's concerned now that you gave Detroit and they're going back to Detroit. Now, on the flip side, here's the thing. They won both games in Detroit. They did win both games in Detroit. So that you have to give them credit for. So it's not like they can't win in Detroit. They know they can. So it's a concern. Now, if they go in there with the right frame of mind, they should end this game. I mean, they should end this series. So my want is for them, yes, to end this series. My thinking is it's going 7 games. I just think it's going to go 7 games. And Detroit is going to continue to be physical. Now, Tibbs, what type of adjustment are you going to do? You saw what they're doing. You saw exactly, and they've been doing this all what you call it. You can't let Tobias Harris start getting on that roll. Once he got hit in the eye by Duran, he took his game up. He did. He was not a part of the game. He was too focused on Carl Anthony, and maybe he thought that the Knicks hit him in the eye, not his own teammate. And he was, he stepped up his game. Credit to him. Kudos to him. That's what a veteran leader is supposed to do to show this team how to step up. But for the Knicks, and we saw it last year when he was with the Sixers. Sixers fans have always complained about it. In those crunch moments, he disappears. And which Tobias Harris are you gonna get tomorrow? And that's the biggest thing. So right now, to me, it's going to be the other factor is Tibbs. I do like the fact that he's playing Mitchell and Cat together a lot more. So now those two got to eat they got to devour the rebounds. You can't let Detroit, beat you and dominate you on the board. You just can't. Josh Hart, for everything that he's given you now, I think he's going to be nicked up, especially with that injury falling on his back the way he did yesterday. So right now, Tibbs to me is the biggest factor. What type of adjustments is he going to do? I was always saying yesterday, he had Brunson bringing up the ball a little bit too much. You saw what Thompson was doing. OG for a little bit was bringing up the ball. Let him bring the ball up, then get the ball to Brunson, let him set the offense up and get going from there. Like, I'm sitting here saying to myself, and I'm not a basketball aficionado, I'm like, Tibbs, where's your adjustment? Where are your adjustments?
Here's the bottom line, Coach. I'm going through these games. I'm gonna tell you what the Knicks' problem is. They gotta hit their shots. Point blank. Period. Yeah. They're not shooting well. The game they shot well, they beat Detroit easily. That was game one. Game one, they shot 52%. Now, rebounds do matter. I'm a big component of rebounding, but I mean, the Knicks won a game against Detroit, and Detroit out rebounded them 54-38, and the Knicks shot 37% in that game, and they still won. So if the Knicks win, that was the last game 4, or the game before the last, game 4. So if the Knicks hit their shots, they just gotta shoot better. If they shoot better, they're gonna win. That's why I call these the baby Pistons. You know what I'm saying? So all that said, I think the Knicks close them out in game 6. All they got to do is just shoot better, get better shots, get better opportunities. But you got Bridges and cats like that are so inconsistent shooting the ball. That is the problem. You got guys that are so inconsistent. OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart. Some of these guys are inconsistent. You trust Brunson, you trust Anthony Towns to a degree, but these other guys, the role players, man, the role players for the Knicks got to step up. And if they step up, they will beat Detroit easily. Detroit is a good team. They're not a great team. The Knicks are better than them, and I'm not a Knicks fan, obviously, but I'm just a basketball fan. They should win this series. It shouldn't be an issue. Now, if you let them continue to get confidence and win this game 6 here, you're in big trouble, because them boys are coming to the Garden ready to roll. You got to close them out in game 6. And a veteran team to be able to do that, even if it's on the road.
I agree with you.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it. But, yeah.
So,
what's good, man? What's good, chat? I see y'all. Ghost, Iman, Butterfly, Philly Halftime. What's good? Appreciate y'all tapping in. Daniel Burry Sports.
But if I tell Mitch, I say what's up. Thanks for saying hi. Y'all make sure y'all hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already done so to my brother. This way, to Unpopular Opinion, to the Aboriginal Sports, to myself, Coach Ed Gladney. Make sure y'all hit the subscription and notification so you know when we post. Also, make sure you share on all your social media platforms. Let's get the show out there in the algorithm and continue to grow all our platforms, man. We appreciate it. It's free, man. As one of my boys would always say, if it's free, it's for me. There you go. So, we bring you some free content, man. So, definitely, hit that like button, man. And we appreciate it. You guys are a big help. Those of you who have already hit the like button and are subscribed to us. So, thank you. So, all right. So, what's next on the agenda, brother?
All right. I'm gonna hold off on the Yankee news right now. So we'll get into the baseball a little bit later. I want to let this game play out. Right now they're still down, but they cut the lead to 1 run. It's 5-4 in the 7th. So let's get into the NFL and talk about these draft grades. Jets, Giants both had drafts this past weekend, and there is some there's some varying opinions on the draft, of course, for the Jets and the Giants, but I'm gonna start with the Jets. Now let me get to their picks here. All right, I'm gonna do a share screen for this one so y'all can see it, but I'm gonna read it off too for the people that's listening. All right, so this is the NFL.com, and they give the Jets a B+, and these are the picks right here. Armand Membu, offensive tackle out of Missouri. That was their first pick at number 7 overall. Round 2, number 42, they went Mason Taylor, tight end from LSU. Round 3, pick 73, Azare Thomas, cornerback, Florida State. Round 4, pick 110, they went Arian Smith, wide receiver out of Georgia. Round 4, pick 130, went back to the SEC, taking Malachi Moore, safety out of Alabama. Round 5, 162, they drafted linebacker Francisco Muago from Miami. And then round 5, number 176, edge Tyler Barron also out of Miami. So went to Miami again. So now they gave day 1, they broke it down to day 1, day 2, day 3. But I'll read the analysis real quick. This again off the NFL.com website. The Jets passed over the draft's top tight end picks to pick a promising but raw lineman in Membu. Taylor met that need for an athletic receiving tight end in round 2, though, and Thomas could be a steal if overcoming his average long speed with physical downfield coverage. Smith's potential as a speed threat can come to fruition if he's able to concentrate on the ball through the catch. They upgraded the defense with the experienced Moore and active Mwago, and then switched future day 3 picks to grab a bargain edge in Barron. The Jets chose not to select a quarterback to compete with Justin Fields. Now I want to focus on that last point. Do you knock this grade at all because they did not select a quarterback?
No. Oh, wait a minute. I'm just reading something now. Jordan Travis retired. It's just on there today. So yeah, it's on the NFL.com site. It says Jordan. So but at the time of the draft, no, I wouldn't have, because you had him, and he's coming off of a serious injury. So, he was your, maybe someone who you could develop in the future. But you also are feeling that, you can get something out of Justin Fields. So that's why it's like, it's kind of hard, what quarterback were you going to get? If you're saying Shedeur Sanders, then you're basically saying, is he coming in to compete with Justin Fields? You just gave Justin Fields a 2-year contract. Plus, quote unquote, next year is the big quarterback draft. So you do have that leeway to, in everyone else's mindset, and we have to see how this college season plays out, because, sometimes guys step up come out of nowhere, i.e. Jaden Daniels, but that's the point for next year, and why I don't knock them for not getting a quarterback right now. So, and losing Travis is probably going to be more of a reason. Now, me.
That's crazy. He retired.
Yeah. Remember, he had the injury at the end.
Yeah. And then they drafted him.
Yes.
He never played though.
Nope. He was taking a medical year, and now I guess the injury is a lot worse than whatever.
Serious. Yeah.
He was like a 7th round draft pick. So
yeah. I know. He was he had a good year in Florida State, but just the injury messed him up. And
now, you know me with the sexy fatties. You know how I am. You get in a tackle, and you don't forget, 2 of their tackles are gone from last year. They're 2 starting tackles. So you can bring guys in, and you know what? Membo comes in and fills. If you want to say he's a B+, okay, B+, A-, give or take. I'm fine with that grade. That's fine. He's still someone you have to develop, but I don't kill them for not taking a quarterback in this draft.
Yeah, I don't either.
All right, Nick, I see you.
I think they'll be all right with Justin Fields if they lean on the running game, because they got 2 good running backs. You coach this kid Mimbu up. Get him going in the run game. Get your run game going. Let that pass game develop. You got a new coach. You can lean on your defense. Aaron Glenn's a defensive-minded coach. So, and again, they added 2 studs on defense. I like this draft right here, Coach Azare Thomas, somebody we talked to at the Senior Bowl. A tall, long, physical corner out of Florida State. I think he's going to be a good player. Now they picked up. Shout out to you for sending me the information about them picking up Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner's 5th-year option. So you have Azare Thomas, can develop behind Sauce Gardner. I like that pairing right there. And Malachi Moore, another defensive player in that secondary for the Jets, that can help them out. Physical safety out of Alabama. You know how they get down over there in Alabama. So Malachi Moore was somebody that I was scouting during the draft process. So he's a good player. They got 2 good ones right there, and got Justin Fields a target and Mason Taylor. So I liked and Smith too as well from Georgia. He's got a few drops though. That's an issue for him. So. But I like the draft. I would give it I think it's right there where it's at. B+, maybe A-, like you said. Definitely. If I had to settle on a grade, I would give it a A-. I give it an A-. Definitely. The Jets helped themselves right there with that draft. Chat, y'all can comment on what you think of the New York Jets draft. Right there it is on the screen. Again, Armando Membu, Mason Taylor, Azare Thomas, Arian Smith, Malachi Moore, Francisco Muyago. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that. And Tyler Barron, Jets draft picks. So tell me what y'all think. Now, let's get into the New York Giants.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let me we don't gotta go far. All right. So a lot of people like the Giants draft. A lot of people with high grades. NFL Network or NFL.com gives the Giants an A, a solid A. Let's go through it. Round 1, pick 3, Abdul Carter, edge out of Penn State. Traded up from round 2, with giving up 2/3 to draft quarterback Jackson Dart, number 20 with at number 25, quarterback out of Mississippi. Round 3, number 65, defensive tackle Darius Alexander out of Toledo. Round 4, 105, running back Cam Scatbo out of Arizona State. Round 5, number 154, offensive tackle Marcus Bowe out of Purdue. With 7th round pick, number 219, tight end Thomas Fadone II out of Nebraska. And round 7, number 246, cornerback Corey Black out of Oklahoma State. Okay, New York Giants fans. I will say I've calmed down a little bit on the Giants. I was ready to flame them a new one. I promise you that. But this was a good draft by Joe Shane. This was a good, solid draft. I'm right there with where I'm at with the Jets. A minus, B plus. Personally, since I'm a little tougher on the Giants than the Jets, I'm gonna give them a B plus. Only because them drafting cornerbacks annoys the shit out of me. Even though Corey Black, I know he's got potential. I know you need depth in the secondary, but god damn it, I'm tired of it. You know, could have got another wide receiver, but they did pretty good in the undrafted free agents as well, picking up a couple wide receivers, including Jackson Dart's college teammate, Antoine Juice Wells. Coach, did the Giants, do you think the Giants deserve an A? Is this a deserving grade for you?
I have been, and I'm still battling back and forth between the A minus and a B plus. I've been battling, going back. Now, a lot of it started because of my affinity for Shedeur Sanders, but I took that out of the equation because there's nothing you can do about that, and I just stuck to the players that they have. Carter, he has some good flexibility, versatility. He can play the off-ball linebacker as well as come off the edge, and so he gives you great versatility there. My only concern with him is just injuries. You know, are they more Knicks as opposed to something that can be a recurring thing? Jackson Dart, all right. You know what? Shane Dable, you went and got your quarterback. You know what? You have always been saying it for the longest while. Go get your quarterback. Go get your quarterback. If you want your quarterback, go get your quarterback.
Y'all want it, so yeah, absolutely.
Go ahead.
I'm not gonna knock it too much. Yeah.
Yeah. So you know what? I've looked at some of his things. The only reason why I'm concerned because of the system he comes out of. Any quarterbacks that come out of a Lane Kiffin system, whether they're at Ole Miss, go back to SC. Because you had what's his name, who the Jets drafted, and now it was at Minnesota last year, and now in Seattle. What's his name, man?
Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold, thank you. Matt Corral coming out of Ole Miss. These quarterbacks do not transition well to the. That's my concern, But physical tools. He has the physical tools. I'm not going to sit here and say he doesn't. So plus he has, the ability to run. Do I want him to slide a lot more? Yes. Darius Alexander, shout out to you and Big Pat, and talking about him. I saw him, because I watched Mac games. I saw one game, and I didn't like what I saw that one game, but he had a bad game. Cam Scatbo, phenomenal. You know what? To get him in the 4th round when you could have, some publications had him going in the 2nd round. So that's a steal. And then I don't know, it's Embo or Bo. I mean, I've heard
it's Bo. Yeah.
I've seen him at Purdue. He's still got to develop. He has to get a little bit stronger, but nasty. Plays nasty. That's something that I love with offensive linemen. Fedoni, I've seen him, in Nebraska. Hell, gave my Scarlet Knights a problems. And Black, I did a little bit of research on him. I was watching a breakdown on him by what's his name from just left Talking Giants, Bobby Skinner. Where he's breaking down some of the things that I was seeing. There are times that he's a little flat-footed, overextends on the jam. In terms, there's things that he has to develop. Good, excellent speed. I think he ran like a 4.3, 4.4, something like that. So he has speed, but sometimes he can get shook out of and he allows separation. So it's going to be a special teams player. That's really what it boils down to. So my grading has been the whole time B+, A-, B+, A-. I'm probably leaning more to the A- side right now because I'm saying Ed, be fair, and and looking at everything that Shane has done, and then I'm sitting in him and I'm listening and I'm seeing what everyone else is talking about, and I'm like, okay, maybe I'm being harsh on them, and I have to be fair, so probably leaning a little bit more to the A- side. So if you're A-, I'll give you A-.
I'm right. I'm on the B+ side. Another thing that kind of annoys me is the trade up. I don't like the fact that they had to trade up for Jackson Dart. They saying the Rams is going to take him. I'm calling bluff on that because you just paid what's that man's name? Stafford. So the Rams was always going to do something which made sense in the 1st round to help out the quarterback that you just brought back and paid a bunch of money to. So I would have called that bluff. I'm not buying that shit that they was all in on Jackson Dart in the 1st round. I'm not buying it one single bit. So Giants didn't have to trade up for this guy, but they did anyway, and it is what it is. But again, I love all the other picks. Outside of that cornerback in the 7th round, that I'm not in love with that pick per se, just because of the position, not because of the player. But I just, I'm tired of the Giants with these cornerbacks. They're not panning out like we spending money in free agency to go get cornerbacks, for crying out loud, and you got all these cornerbacks you drafted that just ain't really shaking out.
Is that a product of Jerome Henderson? Because remember, they did fire Jerome Henderson.
I tend to believe Jerome Henderson is a very good coach, but that's my belief. You know what I'm saying? just
So
from
then
everything I've
why?
watched him done.
But remember, you're sitting here saying they don't do a good job developing them. So how can he be a good defensive back coach if they're not developing them? Because that's who develops the players.
Well, Banks was
say
developing, and then they changed the system, so we know why Banks was
but
having.
if he is an elite coach, it doesn't matter if you change the system. You should be well versed. Like you can give me, if I'm a position coach, you can change the system up on me. My teachings are going to be the same no matter what, and I'm going to teach you to play within the system. It doesn't matter. Now, some kids may be better at press man. I understand that. But that doesn't mean you can't teach them and help them be better to play in a zone scheme. So you can't have it one way where they're not developing the players, but then you say that Jerome Henderson is an excellent position coach because he's the one that's teaching them.
Well, really, it's on Banks more so than what's the other cornerback's name? Cordell Flott, and Drew Phillips, who did have a good season last year.
Okay.
So, to me, it's just the repeated notion of drafting corners when you have other needs on the team and other positions that you can upgrade, and then I will put it like this to you, Coach. Are you getting the value with some of these picks? Not saying they're trash because they are decent players. Mm-hmm. Are you getting the value with some of these picks?
Sure.
Because if you're not getting the value, then you can just go out and do what you did this year and get free agents to fill some of those spots instead of just drafting. That's what I'm saying. So
no, I got you. I got what you're saying. So yes, you're right in that regard. I'm just saying, like with Black, I'm looking at him more than anything as a developmental project down the road. Right now, he's going to be a special teamer if he makes the team. Now he could not make the team, and then your argument could be, well, you wasted a pick. Maybe you could have got something else, which is what you're saying as far as getting a receiver, which I do understand. But I'm also looking at, I'm looking at him more to special teams. For the most part, he's a decent tackler. So you're going to need that. And putting a receiver in the 7th round, because think about that. More than likely, most receivers are not going to be good tacklers. So, if you put them on the punt coverage and the kickoff coverage. Now, I'm not saying, I don't know if he's a returner. I have to do more research. I'm not expecting him to be a returner. But with his speed, I could see him as maybe a gunner. Maybe you put him out there as a gunner, on your kickoff or your L2 or R2 on, or however you number your kickoff lanes, whatever. So I'm just waiting to see with him because he's a 7th rounder. That's the biggest thing with me. He's a late round pick and he's a last pick, so it's like, all right, let me see what you got.
You can't fuss about it too much. I get it. It's damn near at the end of the round anyway. So, but again, I don't know, man. It's just
I got you. I know
when I
see
speak cornerbacks, I'm just like, again, really. All right. But the New York Giants did have a good draft. Let's continue here, y'all. Man, appreciate y'all tapping in on this Wednesday night.
Just one thing I wanted to say. Are you closing out football right now?
Yeah, we're going to transition, but go ahead.
I just wanted to say I was looking up something because we didn't talk about hockey, and I just saw the Devils lost yesterday, and they lost their series 4-1. So
yeah, I was just about to get to that. Yep.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Nah, you good. I had to schedule the score up here. But yeah, they did get bounced from the playoffs by the Carolina Hurricanes. The Devils, good season, 42-33-7. But they lose this one to the better team, the Carolina Hurricanes. I mean, the Carolina Hurricanes. Carolina is a good team. Carolina gave my Rangers all they could handle last year in the playoffs. We did win, but Rangers not in it this year. The Devils was the only hope for us, and they are done. They are done. Hurricanes do go ahead and move on, and I don't know who they play. Let me look at the bracket. Okay. They play the winner. The Capitals and Canadians. Right now the Capitals up over the Canadians 3-1, and they lead the series 3-1. So could be Hurricanes and Capitals in the next round. Like I said, all New York teams are out, and all Philadelphia teams are out too, y'all. And so is Boston. FYI, we don't have to deal with that crap this year. At least not in hockey. so the Northeast is done in hockey. It's going to be Canada or the West Coast or somebody. Or maybe the Hurricanes, man. Get in there, man. I got a buddy, man. Shout out to Riley. He's a Carolina Hurricane fan if he's watching. But, yep, that's it for the Devils, and that is it for hockey. Let's talk about a little baseball. Right now, again, these Yankees, man. They got Leiter Jr. in there pitching. 2 men on, 2 outs, 1-2, and the pitch is outside, 2-2. 5-4. Right now, Orioles still leading, bottom of the 8th. So the Yankees next time up, it's going to be their last hurrah. But what I do want to talk about here, let me see. Let's get into this, man. Yankees and Mets both on top of the divisions in baseball. Coach, who you got more faith in? I'm pulling up the standings right now. Yankees 18-12.
The Mets.
And the Mets are 21-9.
Mets lead all baseball right now.
You said the Mets?
Yeah, because they're leading all the baseball when you think about it and you look at it. The Yankees are too inconsistent. You're even struggling sometimes against teams that you should definitely at least win the series.
The Orioles.
The Orioles. I think you lost a series to did they lose a series? No, it was Detroit. Sorry. It was Detroit. I know they and I think it was the Royals, if I'm not mistaken. They lost I think a game or to the Rays. I'm sitting here and I'm looking, I'm like, wait a minute, come on, man. You're still a better team. Now I know injuries are a big factor with this team, and I get it. That's always going to play a role in everything when it comes to sports. But still, they still have the talent to be much better than this. Now, conversely, they're half a game out in having the number 1 record in the American League. And when you think about it, they're only 3 games behind the Mets for the overall record in all of baseball. So it's not doom and gloom. We as Yankee fans, we expect championships and we hold them to a higher standard, which I do understand. But when you add in the injuries and everything, and the pitching, you're having issues with your closer. To be there, literally 3 games out for the overall record, to be a half a game out to have the overall number 1 seed in the American League, that's all right. And it's still early. So, we still have plenty of time to see, what's going to happen as the season, as the year goes on. So, but I'm with you. Sometimes I do hold them to a much higher standard, and my expectations is much higher. And when they're not winning, I get frustrated with them.
Yeah. The Mets. The Mets in action tonight against the Diamondbacks, down 2-1. They are in the bottom of the 7th of that game. So we're gonna keep y'all updated here on Heart of the City. I believe the Yankees is definitely about to close this game out unless they're going to extra innings. We'll see if they can come back. But right now, there's one out. So they're down to their last 2 outs. The Yankee fans, and looks like it might be another L to another bad team. And I'm with you, Coach. In that regard, I think it's the Mets. But I don't trust the Mets either. Because the Mets, like most of the Ets teams, they gonna mess up. So now the Yankees have 2 of the top hitters in baseball right now, and that's Aaron Judge and Goldsmith. I looked at it. Judge is batting like 417 or something. It's ridiculous.
What's up, guys?
Absolutely ridiculous, bro. Yeah. That's why the Yankees are 18-12, because they have an absolute animal. He could only do it in the playoffs, but
true.
If he could do it, man, we would be dominant. It'd be a lot more of these up here. But yeah, Aaron Judge is a regular season guy at this point in his career. We need to see more. But in the regular season, absolute animal, and he is carrying this Yankees team right now, along with Goldsmith, who is up to bat now. Mr. Goldsmith. We'll see if he can come through. Hit a home run earlier in this game. But it's been them two, man. It's been them two. The pitching has been very, very shaky. And, you know, the hitting behind those two hasn't been that great either. No one else over, I believe, a 250 average. Now, with the Mets, has been a lot of Pete Alonso, of course, Juan Soto. What's Juan Soto's numbers? Let me research something real quick here, y'all, because I haven't checked this out yet. Juan Soto. Okay, so Soto's batting 241, 3 home runs, 12 RBIs, on base percentage 363, and OPS 747. So yeah, not a good start for Juan Soto over there with the Mets. So, but to have the record they have, and him playing like that has to actually be a good sign if you're a Met fan. As we go over here to the Mets, you see the NL East. Yeah, if you're a Met fan, that has to be a good sign to have him batting like that, and the Mets still doing what they do, man. But you got Francisco Lindor. He's been hitting well. He's been on fire, and of course, Pete Alonso and then McNeil. They both been red hot. Acuna, he's been doing his thing as well. So the Mets really do have a hell of a lineup, and what I do like about the Mets, they got some good pitching too. They got some good pitching too. And let's see who's on the mound for the Mets today. There it is. Waddell. Okay, Waddell started. Brandon Waddell got the start for the Mets, I believe, today. So, but the Mets have definitely been getting a lot better pitching than the Yankees. The Yankees pitching is just so suspect. I cannot like. That's why I keep saying they put all their stock in hitting. This is what this Yankee team does every single year. You know, they and then they get these kind of halfway washed up now. Freeze, okay, I guess. Rodon is iffy. Of course, Cole is out. I don't know, man. I don't trust it. I trust it more with the Mets than with the Yankees. What's your thoughts, Coach?
No, I'm with you, bro. I mean, when it comes down to the crunch time, pitching is going to be a big factor. You know, that's throughout the course of time. Pitching. Good pitching will always beat good hitting every time.
Mm-hmm.
So,
that's what I've been trying to say, man.
If the Yankees don't do a better job, especially with the closer, I mean, they got to get that situation. You paid all that money for your closer, and he just looks totally lost. So they got to get, like I said, they got to get the pitching situation taken care of. Whether you trade for someone now, whatever it is, if you really want to win a championship, you got to do something. So, I'm with you though in terms of, who do I trust more? So,
yeah, man, definitely trust the Mets more, and the Mets got they got what's a closer? That's Edwin Diaz. Diaz. So I definitely trust Edwin Diaz. This damn guy, the Yankees guy. But man, now what I want to get into? Oh yeah, the NBA draft. Just want to touch on that real quick, and then we're gonna get into Coach's Corner. When the lottery comes out, definitely we're gonna know the order. We're gonna know who's picking. But I think the Brooklyn Nets have the 6th best odds to get the number 1 pick. I don't. Huh?
I thought Philly was 6. I thought you guys were 5th.
Is it? I thought we were 6th.
Double check.
Maybe I missed the boat on that. But either way it go, you ain't won. So, do not expect. I do not expect the Nets to have a top 3 pick. Therefore, I do not expect them to land Cooper Flag, Ace Bailey, or Dylan Harper. So, there's another component to this.
Philly is actually 5 and you guys are 6.
That's what I thought.
Oh,
yeah.
Now for the longest while it was the other way around. The last I saw. So, okay, I stand corrected. My apologies.
But there's another component to this now, and that's the Giannis thing. And then you sent me that article earlier. The Nets are the favorites to land Giannis Antetokounmpo. Do you? Because you're not gonna get Flag or Bailey or Harper. Unless you get one of them top 3. That's my opinion. Things could change. That's the way it looks right now. We'll see when the lottery comes out. Do you trade that pick in a deal for Giannis?
Is it in the top 3? No.
And that's what I'm saying. It's not gonna be in the top 3 if you're the Nets, because the Nets, like I said, they have the 6th best odds. So again, if you are the Nets, because it's heart of the city, I'm just basing it on the Brooklyn Nets right now. The Knicks are in the playoffs; they got other things to worry about, and the Liberty is coming off a championship. So but the Nets got to build. So if you're the Nets, do you trade that 6th pick, knowing it's probably not going to be Cooper Flag or any of the top 3 so-called transcendent players? Do you trade that in a deal to get Giannis Antetokounmpo? Now, y'all can comment in chat. This is just a question. This is not nothing I'm proposing or anything. I just want some feedback on this because I'm going to be doing some Nets content here on my channel. So y'all let me know. Would you do that deal?
Again,
do that?
If you're in the top 3, no.
If you're not in the top 3,
you're not in the top 3. It depends on where you're at. Because if you're at 5,
say you're 6, where the odds is. Say they just fall right there where they supposed to be.
This year, but then
it's tough, right? I've been going back and forth with this too. I'm thinking.
I still think
I
still think you can probably get him without giving up this year's first round draft pick. I'm gonna be honest.
I don't know.
I do. So because again, you have quite a few picks from. Remember, you have quite a few picks from the Knicks. So there are things you can do to package if you really want Giannis, and you don't have to give up that top round pick. Because think about it, the Knicks to get Cat, they didn't have to give up Mitchell Robinson, and everyone was saying to me, if you're trading for XYZ player, top player in the league, you got to give up Mitchell Robinson. And we ended up not doing it. Now we ended up giving up a lot of pretty much all of our draft capital, but there is a way you can do it if you really want the player.
Cave, what's good with you, man? Appreciate you tapping in. Blaze, Monet, what's good? Dewane, what's good? Says keep it, can't sleep on the young talent, y'all still building. I agree, that is a good point, but it's Giannis though. Like, that changes a lot if you can get a player that caliber and still probably keep a Cam Thomas and some of the young pieces you have on that team. I don't know. But that's what I'm saying. If it's a top 3, I'm with you. I'm not doing it. I don't know if it's going to be a top 3, though, because of where they picking at. But it is a lottery. We'll have to see. But I'm thinking if it's not, that's something you got to entertain if you're a Brooklyn Nets fan. I'm not a huge Giannis fan or a huge Giannis guy, and it's not nothing that I'm gonna really bang the table for, because the Nets have kind of went down this route already with trading for these so-called stars, and it never works out. But the Nets and the fans have to have patience too, as well, in letting them build this team out. Sean Marks is here. I mean, the Bridges deal looks pretty good now, so you have to see how it plays out. But I don't trust Sean Marks to build out this team. I don't trust him to make a deal for a superstar. That worries you too, given the past. So that's why I go back and forth on this here a little bit, because I gotta do my research in the draft and see what's in the draft. That's why I put this question out. I'm gonna be starting my research going into the NBA draft, and I'm gonna put out the best fits for the Brooklyn Nets. But if you do happen to trade it as the Yankees lose 5-4, if you do happen to trade it for Giannis, what kind of talent are you missing out on? Because you're not getting the top 3, obviously. Now I know some of the players in the draft. You got the Duke guys came in and conquered Nipple. You got VJ Edgecombe. It's a couple other dudes out there, man. But I'm gonna be doing that and giving y'all some content on that here on Unpopular Opinion Sports. But definitely hit that like button for Unpopular Opinion Sports. Coach Ed Gladney's Amazing World of Sports and the Aboriginal Sports Network. Now, at this time, you ready for a little Coach's Corner? Mm-hmm. How you feeling, Coach?
Yeah, I've been at it ready.
You ready? Are you ready? Are you ready?
Ready to get into this Coach's Corner and talk to you about what's going on in the heart of the city. I'm going to start with some St. John's basketball. St. John's has been going through, so many different things, players leaving, players, they're trying to rebuild their roster, getting players. They just, today, they got a commitment from Handy Tambia. He's a 6'11" player. He's from the Republic of Congo, but he actually played high school basketball in Tennessee. Originally committed to Tennessee, but ended up dropping out, and he was at an NAIA school. It's called Milligan, where he averaged 10.5 points and 8.9 rebounds while shooting 50.4% from the field. So, someone who's going to be interesting to see how he develops under Pitino's tutelage. One thing Pitino said, he's a hard worker and a terrific defensive player. Always wanted to have a Bobby Mays player, incredibly young man with an awesome work ethic. So that speaks volumes, when Pitino makes those type of statements. Now, RJ Luis, who was there, who was the Big East Player of the Year last year, and is leaving St. John's. He's either going to be transferring to another school, but he appeared on the NBA draft early entry list today. So it's just something that we're going to be monitoring as we go along. He made a statement that he said, "I'm fully into the draft right now." He said this last week at the 92nd annual Haggerty All Metro dinner. The transfer portal is really just like a backup plan. So what he's trying to see is where he stands within the eyes of the NBA. Maybe he gets an invite to the combine, and then he'll have a better assessment. If not, he'll end up finding another school to play. He's definitely out of St. John's though. So, but that's what I wanted to touch on real quick in terms of St. John's basketball. Next, I'm going to talk about Syracuse football. They had 4 players who were drafted in the NFL draft. They had tight end Arande Godson, who was drafted by the LA Chargers, number 165 in the 5th round. Quarterback Kyle McCord by the Philadelphia Eagles, number 181 in the 6th round. Running back LaQuint Allen to Jacksonville Jaguars, number 236 in the 7th round. And edge Fidel Diggs to the New Orleans Saints, number 254 in the 7th round. Now, they also had several players who were UDFAs. DB Clarence Lewis to the Tennessee Titans, DB Elijah Clark to the Dallas Cowboys, and safety linebacker Justin Barron also to the Cowboys. Receiver Jackson Meek to the Detroit Lions, and offensive tackle Savion Williams and linebacker Marlo Wax. They both were signed to the Los Angeles Chargers. So we're going to be keeping an eye out on those players as they begin their professional career. Moving on to Rutgers, I'm going to start with the Rutgers women. The Big Ten yesterday and today released who each school, men's and women, will be playing, whether they're playing home, away, or home and away. For the women, their home games are going to be Indiana, Iowa, Maryland, Michigan, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Washington, and Oregon. Now, their away games are Illinois, Michigan State, Nebraska, Northwestern, Ohio State, Purdue, UCLA, and USC, and their home and away is with Penn State. So I was wondering if they were going to get USC and UCLA here in Jersey, but not this year. So, but that's going to be it for the women. And as far as the men, their home and away is with Michigan State, Penn State, and Maryland. Now, their home games are Indiana, Nebraska, Northwestern, Ohio State, Purdue, Washington, and Oregon. And their away games are Illinois, Iowa, Michigan, Minnesota, Wisconsin, UCLA, and USC, just like the women. So going to be, once the basketball season gets closer, definitely going to be diving more into that and seeing how this team shapes up, because both men and women are getting transfer portal commitments. So I'm going to be talking more about that later. So, and in terms of Rutgers football, they had 3 players drafted. Defensive back Robert Longerbean went to the Baltimore Ravens in the 6th round, pick number 212. Defensive lineman Keontae Hamilton went to the Houston Texans in the 7th round, pick number 224. And running back Kyle Monangai went to the Chicago Bears in the 7th round, pick number 233. And I think that's a good I personally think he has a really good chance of making that team there. So
yeah, shout out to Kyle Monangai, man. He was in my top 5, coach. Man.
Most of us. So now they did also have some free agent signings. DB Desmond Igbenogson went to the Baltimore Ravens. DB Shaquan Loyal went to the Cincinnati Bengals. Receiver Dymere Miller actually signed with the Jets. Offensive lineman Holland Pierce signed to the Eagles. But to be honest with you, that is the right spot, because he's a lineman, and they'll do wonders.
Develop over there.
Yeah. Linebacker Tyrene Powell signed with the New Orleans Saints, and DB Eric Rogers went to the Los Angeles Chargers. I was surprised about that one. Now, they also have some rookie minicamp invites. DB Flip Dixon he's trying out with the Buffalo Bills. Wide receiver Christian Dremel. He's actually trying out for 2 teams, it says the Chiefs as well as the Giants. I know the Giants are definitely right now. Then you also have defensive lineman Malcolm Ray. He went to the Chiefs, or he's trying out with the Chiefs. And long snapper Austin Riggs. He's actually trying out with the Minnesota Vikings. So, that's who are getting shots with Rutgers. So you see quite a few players. And hopefully with the UDFAs and the minicamp invites, they're definitely going to get some more players onto the list. So that's pretty much it. That's what I have for you today with Coach's Corner. So, one last thing. I'm sorry. And the New York Liberty, they just started training camp on Sunday. So I'll be keeping an eye out on that. Benai Jelani, I talked about it last night on Full Court Press with Man Cave and Leaf. Bernard Jelani right now is probably either going to be out for the whole season or right before training camp because she has a knee injury that happened in the Unrivaled, so she's dealing with that. And Brianna Stewart had a knee cleanup basically, so they're not pressing her right now during training camp, but she'll be ready by the start of the season. So, and the Liberty are looking pretty deep, so hopefully things go well as the season goes along, and we'll be talking more about it, and we'll see what happens with them, and let's see if they can go back to back, because no one has won back to back except for the Aces in the past 20 years. So that speaks volumes. So 20 years is only one team that's won a back to back championship, and that's the Las Vegas Aces. So hopefully the Liberty can be the number two, the second team to do that. So, but that's going to be it for Coach's Corner. Look for more next week. So back to you, NYG.
All right, man. Appreciate that, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, man. And shout out to the Rutgers and Syracuse players that made it to the NFL. Good luck to each and every one of y'all. Definitely. And I mean, I'm looking forward to watching, our guy Kyle Manungai run over there with the Bears.
Mm-hmm.
Sad that Holland Pierce got picked up by the freaking Eagles.
But I think that's good for his career. I'm going to be honest. So
but we'll see how it turns out. But that is going to be all for today's show. New show format. We're going to kick off about 8:30, maybe 9 o'clock, but I'm going to shoot for 8:30 Wednesday nights. That is my availability. So my availability is when the show's availability is. Coach's availability is when the show's availability is. So that's when we're going to kick this show off. I will be sending invites out to specific guests to come on and talk about specific topics. And I also want to open this up to other cities, where New York is here, New York, New Jersey, tri-state area, man. But shout out your city. Come on, heart of the city, and let's talk about your city. I do want to open that up to the fans of the show. If you guys choose to do so, or if you're interested, hit me up or hit Coach up, and let us know if you want to come on the show and talk about your city and talk sports, period. That's what we're going to do here now. I just don't have the time to host a panel full of people every single night. Sometimes we'll have some open panels, but for the most part, it's going to be me, Coach, and whichever guests we decide to have on the show for that particular show. So, but hope y'all enjoy it, man. And definitely, man, hit the like button, hit the share button, share it on your social media platforms. Also, comment. I want comments. I want thoughts. I want opinions. This is Unpopular Opinion Sports. I want to know your opinion on me, good or bad, the show, the Knicks, the trash Giants, the trash Jets, whatever you want to rant about, whatever's on your mind, let us know right here on Heart of the City, man. But we're going to kick it out, man, with the old outro. And until next time, we up out of here. You know what it is. Deuces.